What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey, everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, she's been on the channel before, but not as a solo, so yeah, we got a debut. We'll go with it. Making her solo debut on the channel tonight, we have Miku Yonezawa. Yes, indeed. How about that? Miku Yonezawa making her solo debut on the channel. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbity bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Home Gnome, and this is actually Home Gnome's prioritized request for the month of November for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So, here you go, Home Gnome. I hope you enjoy the show. Home Gnome wanted to see me react to this. It is Miku Yonezawa with a tune called Glacial Winds. Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I got a note here. Miku is the tenor sax player from Jazz Avengers. Yeah, I'm very familiar with her. She's out of all the Jazz Avengers, she's my absolute favorite. The way that she plays that tenor sax, man. Oh, good. She really stood out. You know, I mean, no disrespect to the other ladies. They're very talented musicians, but Miku really stood out with her tenor sax playing. Really getting down in that lower register, almost down into the Barry sax register. So I was pretty impressed with her, and she did a fantastic job in both appearances that the Jazz Avengers have done. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do with her solo stuff here. As a special note, Home Gnome found out one of the reasons the Jazz Avengers have stopped playing is Miku just had her first child. That's a pretty big deal. So to celebrate, Home Gnome is making this his request for November. Isn't that sweet?
Ew! Sentimental drivel poop!
This was posted by Blues Alley Japan, all right? And the video has 33,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. I have absolutely no idea what that says. Glacial Winds. It's got the title of the song there. Look, this is the link that I was given, all right? So if we're not in the right place, don't blame me. You can put the blame squarely on Home Gnome if we're not in the right spot, because he's the one who gave me this link. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Stop. Stop. Can you say David Sanborn? Yeah, we can. Man, her dynamics and her soft attacks, man, that screams David Sanborn. Oh, goodness. Ooh. Oh, shivers and chills. Yes. Yes, I love it when that happens. Oh, man. Already off to a great start. I was ready for her to come in just, honking away, like she did before. The whole Lenny Pickett comparison. I was ready for that, like I heard before. Nope, we're gonna turn a complete 180 and go the David Sanborn approach. Okay, I like it. I really like the Spanish guitar, not flamenco, but just a Spanish style of playing. As far as notation, very Spanish themed there. I like that. That felt good. Nice little intro after the piano. The piano player did a fine job with the intro, by the way. I know I didn't mention him, but he did really nice job there. Let's let's kick that back into where she comes in. I gotta hear that again. Ooh. I just noticed we're in 6/8. Bass player's playing an upright. Love that. Really? That was a short one, but it still sounded good. Yep. Oh, great dynamics. Man. Everybody understands dynamics in this group. It's nice. Even the drummer. Okay, pause. I gotta pause. Surprised by the bass solo. I didn't see that coming. I did not think he would get a solo. It was kind of nice. It was short, yes, but it sounded really nice. I liked what he did. Again, showing off that Spanish style of playing, mostly in the left hand. That was really what was kind of doing most of the most of the heavy lifting when it came to that solo as far as style goes. But his picking was tight. His picking was very tight. Very close movements. No wasted motion when it came to doing his picking. Everything was just as minimalistic as possible when it comes to movement. But it was super clean. So no problems there. Great usage of dynamics from him as well. Coming back to the piano, same thing. Some really nice strides. Kind of reminds me a little bit, just ever so slightly, of David Benoit. I like his right hand usage. Moving up with arpeggiations and then coming down with chords. Fitting inside that 3. Dun 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 dun. You know, it felt really good. And I was sitting there watching him play. I'm like, man, that sounds like David Benoit. Love that. Loved everything about that. It sounds like we're getting back to some more sax work. So let's get back into it. So far, I'm very impressed with this entire group. The entire group are top-notch musicians. It's very obvious that they are. That drummer back there. Okay, before we get back into it, I have noticed the drummer doing something. He stays in 6 the entire time, but sometimes he's on a straight 6 pattern, and other times he's coming up with a swing pattern and making the swing pattern fit within the 6 on the 2 and on the 5. Doing da 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 da. Yeah, he's got that, you know, da 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 on the ride or on the crash. Which he might be on the crash actually, up on the bell. But he's got that swing feel working within a 6/8 pattern. You don't hear that very often. And when the rare occasions that you do hear it, if it's done right, like he's doing it on the 2 and 5, man, it feels good. It feels so good. All right, let's get back into it now. Right there, he's on the straight 6. See if he goes back to the swing. There it is. Woo! Okay. Oh, another bass solo. Awesome. So she has switched up styles from David Sanborn to Michael Brecker. Okay. And just a little, I mean, Michael Brecker would go up, you know, on those higher registers too. But yeah, a little bit of Lenny Pickett in there. I love that. I absolutely love that. I love Michael Brecker. I absolutely do. I love his style, man. Both his solo work, with the Brecker brothers, with Steps Ahead, anything he's been involved with, I've really dug everything he's played. So digging on Michael Brecker for sure. And I was like, all those flurries and those arpeggi and those repetitive, you know, 3s, you know, I think he was really kind of famous more for the 7/5/4 flurry or 6/5/3 flurries that he would do. She very similar in style, but she made it into a 4 though. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, where Michael Brecker would go more on the 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So putting her own little spin on it, but definitely couldn't help but notice a lot of similarities. Someone else I'll throw out there, Charlie Parker. He I don't know if I would go as far as say he was the first person to do it, but he's probably one of the first people to popularize those flurries. Bird was notorious for those. Coltrane, not really. I don't hear any Coltrane really, but Charlie Parker, yeah, I hear a little bit in there. I do hear a lot of Michael Brecker. So between Sam Boyd and Brecker, they're definitely the dominating forces right now in her style. It's good to see versatility. I'm really happy that she's not just a one-trick pony. She's able to do it all, man. She can play soft, she can play fast, she can honk, she can play, she can get it blaring absolutely, and at the same time, almost whispers coming out of her sax. I love it. I love that. Anyway, let's see what the bass player is going to do. Hopefully his solo's a little longer this time. What a great ending. Swing again. Uh-oh. Oh! The honks, yes. Woo! And for the cue, nice. Wow. Nice. Wow. Oh, man. How can you not be impressed by that? Seriously, think about it. What about that was not impressive? Seriously. Oh, boy. That was fun. That was fun. That was a great listen. A fantastic listen. I loved everything about that. Now, that's how I personally feel. Now, hold on. Looking at this objectively, what kind of a score am I going to give? I'm not sure. I gotta think about it. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Miku Yonezawa doing with her just her solo project there, with a tune called Glacial Winds. And this was a request from Home Gnome. It was actually Home Gnome's prioritized request for the month of November for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So there you go, Home Gnome. I hope you enjoyed the show. I think I made absolutely. I think I made it absolutely 100% clear that I loved this. I absolutely did. On a personal level, this hit on all cylinders, every single one of them. There is not a single thing about this I didn't love. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to this. And you better believe I'm going to listen to this again. Absolutely. You know what I might do? I might rip the audio from the video. I might just put this through the old converter and just convert this to an MP3 file and stick it on some playlists. This was a fantastic listen. I can't say enough about it. I really can't. This was outstanding, and I loved listening to this. Absolutely. But as you know, when it comes to my scoring, I do my absolute best to keep personal feelings out of it and look at the song objectively and base a score on the merit of objectivity that the song presented. Okay? So when I give the score, you know, I know a lot of people are going, he said he loved it. He said he was amazed by it. You're right. I absolutely was. On a personal level, I felt that way. You better believe it, okay? And the same thing goes for the objective side, too. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 9.4. Yup. 9.4. You heard me. I didn't stutter. That is the score I feel this song deserves. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay. First things first, a 9.4. What does that mean? Well, a 9.4 would translate to an outstanding, amazing, impressive scale rating because, let's be honest here, this was an outstanding, amazing, impressive job from everybody involved. It wasn't just one person doing all the heavy lifting. No, everybody contributed. It would also get 5 out of 5 stars and an A+ letter grade. Yeah, an A+. So there you go, a 9.4, outstanding, amazing, impressive scale rating, 5 out of 5 stars, and an A+ letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? Haha, so glad you asked. Were you not listening to the same thing that I was listening to? The musicianship from everybody on that stage was top-notch. Top-notch. There was nothing about this song that screamed mediocrity. Nothing about this screamed really good. You know, all right. The drumming, if I'm being honest, it was probably the simplest part about the entire presentation. Okay, I would definitely say the drumming was great. I don't know if I would put the drumming up in the 9s, but I would put it up in the very high 8s. Like if I were just to base my score on the drumming alone, I would give the drummer an 8.7, 8.8 all day long. You don't hear swing in 6/8 very often. That is a rarity. I mean, I've heard it before. It's not my first time hearing it, but it's rare. It's very rare, especially when they do it right. I love it when drummers try to put it on the 3 and 6. It just, man, it feels awkward when they try to do that. I mean, it works, but it just doesn't feel right. Putting the swing pattern the double tap on the 2 and the 5, yeah, absolutely. That is exactly how it should be done if you're gonna do it. But he was able to flip flop between that straight ahead 6, just a nice relaxed but very straight ahead 6, and a laid back swing in 6, man. And he would flip flop between the two seamlessly. I mean, there were times he would switch and I would go, oh, there, okay. When did he switch? Because he would make it so smooth, you know. And like I said, I've heard it before. It's not my first time hearing. If it had been my first time hearing a swing feel in 6, I probably would have been a little more impressed by it. Okay, but I've heard people do it before. Not my first rodeo, but he did it very well. He did it, not even very well. He did a great job of it. On top of it, his fills, man, his fills, just very tasteful. You know, and again, this comes down more than anything. I mean, the drum patterns he would come up with, the rhythmic patterns, the polyrhythms he would come up with, the usage of, you know, different skins and cymbals in combination. I mean, that was all well and good, don't get me wrong. But what really impressed me about his fills, his dynamic control, how he would be able to swell into a roll on the snare and then transfer to the toms on a downward swing and bring it down as he's doing. Just stuff like that, man. Not easy to do. It really isn't. It takes a lot of work and a lot of practice to be able to make it sound as fluid and as well controlled in the dynamics as he made it sound. I was really enjoying his drumming, man. Absolutely. And like I said, I think he was, if I'm being honest, I think he was the least impressive person on the stage. And even he would have gotten, like, on his own, an 8.7 or 8.8. Now, let's talk about the rest of the musicians, shall we? Let's start with the bass player. I have no idea who that cat is. I gotta find out. But his upright work was really nice. How he was playing reminded me of a couple of bass players. And the funny thing is, one of them I know for a fact has played upright. I've seen him in person play upright. The other person, I don't know if he's ever played an upright before. I'm sure he has, but I've never seen it. I've never heard it, so I don't know. But the first person that comes to mind would be that person, and that would be one of my heroes, Jimmy Haslip from the Yellow Jackets. I've been listening to a lot of Yellow Jackets lately. I don't know why, but I've been listening to Four Corners. I've been listening to The Spin. I've been listening to Politics. Politics isn't my favorite album from the Yellow Jackets, but I love The Spin. Oh God, The Spin is my jam. The first two tracks, Geraldine and the title track, The Spin. Those are probably my two favorite songs from the Yellow Jackets. Love those two songs, and they are such stark contrast from each other. But how the bass player was playing, his techniques, his movement, notationally wise, his uses of sustain and vibrato, really gave me Jimmy Haslip feels. I was really feeling Jimmy Haslip on him. And I'm going to mention another one of my heroes here, John Patitucci. Now, I've seen John play with the GRP Big Band and the Chick Corea Acoustic Band, and I've seen him firsthand play the upright. He's a little more aggressive than this guy was, but his tone and his sound, it sounded a lot like what John Patitucci would get out of his acoustic. So I'm just gonna mention him, but I'm more than that though. I was absolutely feeling Jimmy Haslip from that guy. I mean, he sounded fantastic. His dynamic usage, his tasteful playing. He wasn't aggressive in his playing style at all. He was very relaxed, very laid back, and everything was very tastefully done. If he had gone and tried to be more impressive, play faster and play more aggressively, honestly, I think it would have been a detriment. I think it would have hurt the song. So I'm glad he didn't do it. his solos, both of his solos, loved both of them. I like the second one just a little bit more, mostly because it was longer. All right, let's talk about the piano player. I was getting serious David Benoit vibes from him. And the main reason was in his right hand. Moving up with single notes and arpeggiations, and then when he would descend with chords. But within that 6, he would play more like a 4/4 feel, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, he was kind of attacking the keys more straight ahead. And then when he got back down, moving around in the keyboard again with singular notes, he would go right back into that 6 feel again. It was really cool to see him be able to work out those subdivisions and work out that 4/4 interpretation for those descending chords. That was nice. Very David Benoit-ish. Absolutely. His left hand on the flip side, I was getting more Freddie Green from him. His left hand was surprisingly active. He wasn't just hitting a chord and sustaining it, for a full measure. Now, he would usually switch chords about not quite halfway, just a little bit over halfway. He would transition like on the 4 or the 5, and he would hit the next chord and sustain it over into the next measure. Very Freddie Greenish in that regard. And I'm just going to throw this name out there. I've already mentioned Jimmy Haslip. I might as well mention Russell Ferrante as well. I definitely got Russell Ferrante vibes from his playing style as well. His notational selection in particular, his usage of dynamics in particular. I really dug everything the piano player did. I was very impressed with him. Guitar player. I'm going to name some names here. He kind of reminded me. I love that Spanish style of playing in this song. And I'm glad he was playing a nylon string acoustic. If he had played a steel string acoustic, it would not have worked. It would have sounded very tinny and very thin, where playing a Spanish style on a nylon string, you're going to get a lot more fullness and a lot more warmth with each note. And I really dug what he was playing. His right hand barely moved. It barely moved. There was no wasted motion. Very similar in style to Al Di Meola. If you ever watch Al Di Meola play his acoustic, his nylon string acoustic, it's very similar in style. It really is. Also, I've heard Russ Freeman play an acoustic as well, a nylon string acoustic. There's been a couple of Rippington songs that he's played on, and I love those tunes, man. I really do. So I kind of got a little bit of a vibe from Russ Freeman as well. If what he was playing was on an electric, the first name I would mention would have been Frank Gambale. Frank Gambale is notorious for playing Spanish style on an electric. It takes a little getting used to. I remember the first time I heard the Chicory Electric Band, and I heard him playing Spanish style on an electric. I remember I was pretty appalled. I was pretty turned off by that. I was like, no, why? Why not just bust out an acoustic? Why? Even a steel string acoustic. Why not bust that out? Why are you playing on an electric? For the effects? You can get effects through an acoustic. If you mic it up, it's not hard, or if you're playing with a pickup, it's even easier. I had to kind of get used to Frank Gambale's style before I really started to like him. I love him now. I absolutely love him now, but at first, kind of a turnoff. But it was great guitar playing, fantastic guitar playing. Again, great dynamic control, great variation in notational selection, rhythmic patterns. It never got old. It never got stale. Every time he would come in with a solo, it was new. It was fresh. And it sounded fantastic. Let's see. Talked about the piano, talked about the bass, talked about the guitar. Yeah, and I talked about the drummer. Yeah, that's everybody. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Miku. Okay, let's talk about her. Let's talk about her. Starting off, David Sanborn. Good Lord. So much so that I got chills. I was expecting, even with the soft piano intro that we had, and then going into the Spanish guitar, I kept thinking to myself, okay, these are false leads. These are false leads. They're setting us up. They're setting us up because the band's gonna kick in and she is gonna start honking on that tenor. Nope. How wrong was I? Instead, we got some fantastic soft attack dynamics through and through. A little more on the simplistic side with the playing, but still a lot of movement up and down. And I just, man, within the first 10 seconds of her playing, I was like, David Sanborn. This is absolutely Sanborn. And the funny thing is, as the song progressed, we went into more people. Obviously Michael Brecker, very obviously Michael Brecker. Lenny Pickett with the honking. Look, I made that comparison the first time I heard her play. And she was doing those octave jump honks, with those accents on the honk, and I'm like, that's Lenny Pickett. That is absolutely Lenny Pickett. And then she went into those flurries. And again, Michael Brecker, absolutely. But I also gotta throw Charlie Parker in the mix because he is very well known for doing those flurries. And listen, I've already mentioned Russell Fronten, I mentioned Jimmy Haslip, so I might as well mention Mark Russo as well. Now, I know Mark Russo wasn't with the Yellow Jackets for a long time. He was only with them for I think 4 or 5 years total. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion, this is not fact, okay? This is just what I think. I think Mark Russo was the best sax player that the Yellow Jackets ever had. I really do. I think his sax playing on the spin, on four corners, man, you just, it fit like a glove. No offense to the other sax players. Who took after Mark Russo? It was Mintzer, I think. No offense to Mr. Mintzer, but I just wasn't convinced. Even on Live Wires, when he made his debut, playing songs like Geraldine and The Spin, I mean, he played them, yes, but it was lacking the warmth. It was lacking the depth. Not a fan of, and they've had a number of sax players over the years. I think they've had 5 or 6. No, Mark Russo is my favorite. He was the most tasteful player. And that's where he comes into play because everything she played was tasteful. Even the flurries, even the honking, it needed to happen. If she didn't do any honking on this song, I'm going to be honest with you, folks, I would have been disappointed. So she worked it at the end, at the apex of the song. Perfect place to do it. So, yeah, man, I loved everything she did, and I love how she commanded the stage. Watching, make sure everybody's watching her for the cues, and she would give the cues, boom, and make her cues obvious so you couldn't miss it. That's how you lead a band, man. That's exactly how you lead it. Listen, and let's talk about the ensemble, shall we? As an ensemble, I was getting some vibes too. First band that came to mind, and I know everybody's going, he's going to say the Yellow Jackets. No, I'm not going to say the Yellow Jackets. The first band that came to mind, Spyro Gyra. I was like, you got to be kidding me. With that Spanish guitar and that six feel, very laid back six feel. Not the swing in six, just the straight ahead six. What's happening with the piano, the bass work, sax has the lead. I mean, I was absolutely feeling Spyro Gyra on this. And an argument could be made for the Rippingtons. I would not deny that. I mean, pretty much any band under the GRP label from the 90s, you're gonna find, a song very similar in style to this from any one of those bands, Even the Chick Corea Electric Band has songs that are similar in style to this, and so do the Yellow Jackets. So, I have no, the first song that comes to mind would be Geraldine, oddly enough, for the Yellow Jackets. So, I have absolutely nothing but compliments for this song. This song felt good, it sounded good, and it impressed me in every single way. That is why I feel perfectly justified giving this a 9.4. I feel good about that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 9.4, which is an outstanding, amazing, impressive skill rating. 5 out of 5 stars and an A+ letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care. Whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then, by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.